Welcome back to the Wildcard show. My name is Venant.
And I'm Brian.
And yo, Brio.
Yeah.
Manze, hii weekend imekuwa ingine brilliant sana.
True.
I'm just trying so much to contain my excitement because, bro, at this point, you have to literally say it on the show. Arsenal is winning this league.
Nah. Don't get
You're
too
still
carried
in
away.
denial.
Don't get too carried away.
Bro, weekend, you talked about Nketiah.
Yeah. I think
The kid.
that did come back to haunt me. I have, by the way, paid my dues. I've honored my bet. Mtu asikuje kuniambia hapa sijui nini. But I think we'll get to that later, you know, because it was the biggest game of the weekend, possibly the best game amongst the big six rivals that we've witnessed since the season began.
Yeah.
So where to start? Ali kick off on Saturday, Liverpool versus Chelsea. Boring 0-0 draw, right?
Kuna watu wengine walisema hii ni mid-table
By the way, mid-table clash, shit, classical.
You know.
I mean, two teams that have recently been winning the big trophies, and yet right now they are battling to finish in the top half of the league. That can't be my team. There's no way I'm supporting such a team. But I think I'd give Chelsea the credit. You know, they were on the front foot once the kickoff whistle went. Havertz scored a goal, but it was ruled for offside. Chelsea were very good defensively. The Mudryk cameo, wow. This guy is going to light up the Premier League. I mean, I thought he would have been a perfect fit to the Arsenal team, but then he looks like he's a brave lad. When he got his first touch of the ball, he was brave, taking people on, sending Milner back to Leeds. Huyu jamaa naye anajua Kenya anafanya. Yeah.
Manze, with that game, wacha tuanze na kitu moja. Liverpool right now are done.
Yes, they
are
are
done. That front three, the way they used to be kitambo, it's done. It's a wrap. Hiyo imeisha.
100%.
Alafu tukiangalia vitu kama mid yao.
As well, man. Imeisha, because you look at the start of the season, they got Thamelo, the Brazilian, from Juventus on loan. They got an injured player on loan who's not recovered one single bit to get in game time. Then you look at when Wijnaldum left, they never replaced that gap. Now Luis Diaz is injured, who was supposed to take over from Mane. And I'm not saying that the Mane departure is a huge issue. What I think is the issue is, I'd compare it to like Salah versus Son. You see, Son has 3 goals this season, and they only came in 1 game. But then Son has the same pieces around him that were there last season. With Salah, there's different pieces. There's a Nunes now. There's a Gakpo now. He's waiting for Diaz to come back. Firmino also hasn't featured much since the World Cup ended. And then you look at Jota, who's also injured. The midfield is also chopping and changing. So I think Klopp needs to sort out his pieces, his puzzle pieces, to make sure they work.
And do you think they need to buy somebody before?
Definitely in midfield. I still keep on putting out the Tielemans agenda, but I know Leicester will not get rid of him easily. My only issue with Klopp is I think he's biting off a bit more than he can chew.
Okay.
Did you hear what he said after the game? By the way, for those who don't know, this was Klopp's 1000th game as a coach, because he's coached Mainz, Dortmund, and Liverpool. Yeah.
Okay.
Klopp after the game comes out and says, as much as this was my 1000th game, at least I didn't concede 6 goals like Arsene Wenger did in his. Jesus Christ, Klopp, you are Liverpool manager. Why is Arsenal living rent free in your mind? What is wrong with him?
Hey.
That'll come back to bite him, because I look at the Premier League. Wenger is 3-1 up. Wenger won 3 titles. Wenger is an invincible. What did he win? The COVID League? Let's ask Eric.
Eric Menembali huko msee. Ogopa likiko
msee. Nice. But that's what I think about them two teams. I think Liverpool, just because of their coach, would have a better chance of getting to the top 6. But if Chelsea can get something out of Potter, and Potter can get to find out his starting 11, I think 7th at best. 7th at best is their best ever finish. Yeah.
Upande wangu tuanze na hiyo game kwanza. Upande wangu Liverpool, this is what I think. I think they just need to survive in a way. You know, like they need to gel well with the few players that are active right now.
Yes.
And when you play versus Chelsea, and it's the Chelsea fans who are the loudest in your stadium,
that says a lot.
Something. You know, Klopp.
Yeah.
Focus on winning whatever game it is that lies ahead.
Yeah.
As in Wenger, after this we don't talk about him.
Man retired in 2017.
As one of the legends, you know. So for you to just take a shot at somebody who was just chilling somewhere,
wow,
that was just uncalled. Especially coming from a draw, not even
Yes,
winning.
not even winning,
You don't
yeah.
even have leverage to be petty, man. That was just uncalled for.
Yeah.
Upande wa Chelsea, this is what I can say. Chelsea right now, I think wame write hii season yao off. For
Really?
me, I think
They've written it off?
It's done for them
Wow,
because
yeah.
even Chelsea fans are not even watching
Their games no
you
more,
know.
yeah, because they know the outcome. They already know. Wow.
But next season, iki come through, you know, Nkunku will be there.
Oh, yes.
Nkunku will be there. So one wing will be Nkunku, another one will be Mudryk.
Ooh.
So
And
that's
then
also
Joao Felix could be permanent. You never know. You
Nyuma,
never know. Yeah.
There's Mount. I'm telling you, Chelsea next season will be a force to
They'll be cooking.
reckon with.
Okay.
And what other games do you think guys need to know about?
Oh, man. Manchester City versus Wolves. And a big shout out to Lawton.
Why do we need to talk about that game? It was a sure
Because
win for them.
Bro, may watch series night with the boys?
Bado.
You are Prime Video.
Bado.
There's this superhero brute called Homelander. I think Haaland is the Homelander of football, man.
Okay.
These 25 goals already halfway through the season and 31 in all competitions. Say, like, me, I don't even understand what Zuhum was saying I don't understand what Zuhum meant when he said City will not win the league because of Haaland. How? And the guy has 25 goals already.
I can explain. So the vibe that we're getting right now is City have to adapt to the way Haaland plays because as far as much as he's scoring goals and all, we haven't seen how the best of him yet. I don't know if it makes sense.
True.
Maybe I speak as a BVB fan, so I've seen the best of him and
at BVB
Sancho,
when he was with Sancho and okay.
So I've seen the best of him when we haven't seen that yet already at City. Now the question that I have for City fans goes also something I've realized nowadays kuna fans wa City.
Can you imagine? Hao ni wako on
Kuna
loan.
fans wa City.
Ni watu wako on loan from Arsenal and Man United na wengine wa Chelsea pia wanaruka Chelsea wakienda huko sahi.
So do you think now na Haaland anaweza win UCL? Do you think they can go far with na UCL?
Going far, yes. Because when the season started, I even told Lawton, this season, whether they win the Premier League or not, it'll be a huge failure if City do not make the final. They don't even have to win the Champions League.
Okay.
With Haaland and De Bruyne, it'll be a huge failure if they don't make the final. In my opinion, they have to make the Champions League final. Yeah, 100%. Mseni machine bana, goal machine. You have to utilize. You have to do with him what Man United did in 2013 with Robin van Persie to win the league.
Okay.
Make sure he scores you goals. Yeah.
Now wakikatch up to Arsenal, because I can't answer that question.
Well, as we segue into Arsenal Man United, the only chance I give Man City in catching up with Arsenal is I know for a fact they have a double header. Man City, this season they'll play each other 3 times. In the FA Cup, of course, and then at the Etihad in the Premier League and at the Emirates. And I think out of those 2 Premier League fixtures, City will win one of them. I don't know where it's going to be, but City will win one of them. Now the issue comes in where Arsenal have to face Everton when the Premier League resumes in February. And I think the one thing that will be a downer is if you guys go into that Everton game the way Man United did after beating City. Going and drawing at Palace. You see that? Yeah, that's the one thing that I think. Because Everton, we're getting to the second half of the season. I'm not saying it's squeaky bum time or crunch time, but these are one of those games where Everton will have nothing to lose and it'll be a fiery Goodison Park. So you never know what could happen. Demarai Gray could turn up and do what he did against City. You never know. Arsenal have to keep their heads high, man. Mentality has to stay. Just like it did in the Man United game. So what happened, man? How did you feel about it? I know. I made crazy predictions. They've come back to bite me, man. What life am I living?
I was just chilling. Naingia Twitter, I'm being tagged. I'm like, yo, what's up with your guy, man? He's talking crazy. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, he's talking about wearing an Arsenal kit on Monday. I'm like, what do you mean? And then he's like, watch this video. And then I watch a video of this guy talking about if Nketiah kwanza beef na Nketiah ilianzia wapi?
Bro, me, I've never rated Nketiah. To me, Nketiah is like Mason Mount. I've never rated the either of them. I've never rated them players. And then to make matters worse, even Jimani came here as a guest and said Nketiah will surprise people.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I just had a bad weekend. It had to be a bad weekend. It was one of those weekends where I'd like to forget kabisa.
Bro.
Yeah.
Nketiah has numbers to him.
Man, on the game.
Especially after the World Cup. You want me to go about his stats now? Nketiah, count the number of games he hasn't scored. That's
I think
how good
one.
He is. Exactly.
Some,
That's how good he is. And for you now to say bado humrate umtambu, you do not recognize him despite this greatness, it's a bit surprising to me as an Arsenal fan, because what I'm seeing right now is here's a scenario where Arsenal did not panic in the transfer window, and instead of rushing to buy a striker in the name of just buying, we stuck with our own and showed him that, hey, we
believe in you, bro. Yeah.
And for those people who don't know, this trusting in Nketiah started almost a year ago.
True that.
You remember? With the Obama.
Arteta made it clear.
So, and also if you watch All or Nothing, Nketiah Pierre was on form at that time. So I say all that to say I'm still surprised that you still don't identify with Nketiah as a great. And a question that I can ask you in relation to Nketiah specifically and also England is, you know, Nketiah has won this under 21.
The World Cup. And
do you think he extends this to the senior England team?
That's up to Southgate, man. Because in that senior English team, man, there's Harry Kane there, there's Ivan Toney there. You never know. Could be lucky to come in as the third choice centre forward. But
no, I'm talking about their main
right
guy.
now.
Of course,
as the main man in future. Of course, Harry Kane and Tony are definitely older than him. But in the next 10 years, Nketiah could be the number 9 for England, because you have Rashford on this left wing and you have Bukayo Saka on the right wing. So in the next 10 years, you never know. Could be his light. But what did you know what? Let's talk about that game before I make another crazy prediction about Eddie Nketiah. The game, 3-2.
Okay.
I'm going to give my thoughts about Man United.
True.
One thing I liked is I like the fact that we did not make it easy for you guys. You guys struggled and you fought for that win.
Okay.
As much as the possession and the passing stats and the touches in the opposition box may differ, you guys had to fight for that win. My issue is, after the Man City game, there's an element of fatigue, but also naivety. You cannot go after a big W win and concede late goals in 2 consecutive games. True. And a worldie by Michael Elise against Palace, and then there was a worldie by Saka to make it 2-1 before Nketiah scored the winner. Again, added time. What is that? That is naivety, and that is an element of fatigue. So I can clearly tell that the FA does not want Man United to get top 4. You can see it. Another thing is, Casemiro was missing. I think if Casemiro plays that game, we win it. McTominay, please. I hear Newcastle want you on loan. Mimi, I have no shackles on you. You can go. You can go. You can leave. I understand. Another problem I had in the game was what led to the first goal was De Gea playing out from the back.
Okay.
Passes to Wan-Bissaka, who's never been good on the ball, especially when it comes to going forward. Wan-Bissaka gets caught out by Martinelli, passes it to Shaka crosses, and then Uko back post again. Nketiah is unmarked. That is 1-1. I didn't like that. Another thing I didn't like, Luke Shaw giving too much space to Saka. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, Saka had so much time ya kufikiria, what to pass and all that. Yeah.
Second goal, Eriksen has to turn up in these big games. I've realized one thing that is lacking in the Eriksen game is the aggression, the physicality. And that is the one thing that destroyed us, especially in midfield. Because you look at the Arsenal midfield 3, which I personally think is the best midfield 3 right now in the league.
Okay.
Odegaard and Xhaka did not even have to be the creative monsters they've been this season. They did what Partey normally does. Whenever they lost the ball, they became aggressive. They went back to press it. Yeah. I mean, they were very good at recovering the ball. And that is the one thing I think killed us. Another thing that I credit Arteta for is making the best ever decision this season he's ever made. What? Substituting Ben White and putting in Tomiyasu in the second half. Because, like I said, Ben White never has a good game against Rashford. By halftime, alikuwa shakula yellow. So Arteta was very wise in doing that. Ten Hag on the other hand, by minute 70, we were already playing for a draw. Because you cannot tell me you cannot notice Anthony is not having a good game and you don't put Garnacho on until Nketiah scores the winner. That was very lackluster. That was very naive from Ten Hag. But anyway, it's something we learn from. We're already going for the Carabao Cup because we are favorites for that. We're also favorites for top 4. So we move. I mean, come on, lads. It's Arsenal.
Yeah, it's Arsenal.
Besides, why I say it's Arsenal is we've won on aggregate. I don't know why you are bragging and we've won on aggregate. We've won 5-4 on aggregate.
Okay, that gives you how many points?
We've won 5-4 on aggregate.
Yeah, but
it gives us 3 and also gives you 3. Yeah. That's what, basically, those are my thoughts for the game.
Okay.
And I think you guys are total favorites. I have to admit, man. I have to, eat back my words, man. You guys are total favorites. Although you never know what's going to happen over the weekend when you guys face Man City in the FA Cup. Yeah. How do you think that will go? Arteta will go with the usual starting 11?
Yeah. Nona akianzisha kila mtu hapo. And I think this might be the game even Trossard actually starts.
Hey.
Because one thing
At the
that
Etihad,
we've discovered as Arsenal fans is Trossard is the guy who because Martinelli has played every game.
Yeah.
So this is now substitution for him.
Takes a load off of Martinelli,
so at
a
least
bit
he
of a
can
rest.
Nani.
Yeah.
From Arsenal number 2 I realized was resilience. We still have that resilience whenever even when Rashford scored. And I won't lie, that was one of the best goals I've seen from him.
True.
And also from United this season.
Yeah.
Normally, whenever Arsenal concede, you'll usually see somebody holding his
Heads down, yeah.
None of that this
Kept
time.
playing on.
We just kept playing on. And even when you guys scored the second goal, which clearly was a mistake from Tomiyasu and the keeper, we still held on and we still ahead. And also when you see the way we are over-celebrating after the games, that's team spirit, bro.
100%. 100%, man.
If by now you still have doubts about Arsenal winning the league, I'm telling you right now, go and order an Arsenal kit, write the number champions up on Numa with 23, because we are winning the league, bro.
What if you lose out to Everton once the Premier League resumes?
Yeah, we're still winning the league.
What if you lose both games against City?
Won't happen.
See, then they're above you.
No, it won't happen because they also have, one thing about City that you guys fail to realize is,
Yes.
and we used Cancelo as an example, City are conceding goals. I've said this
Iyo
1,000 times. It's different from the other season. You remember the other season, it was, at in FPL, guys used to pick Luis Diaz and...
Oh, true, by the way, yeah.
Because of clean sheets. But none of that this season. They're conceding goals.
But after that derby defeat, I think these guys will go into 5th gear and go for everything. City are capable of putting up 20 wins in a row.
True.
No one can stop them.
And that's the quarry that we have as Arsenal fans of course we've stuck 20 games to become number 1, but City have gone 21. It's on record, winning. So do you think Arsenal can do that?
Arsenal Gun. In an alternate universe, yes, but Arsenal Gun, not in this universe.
Hata FIFA
hawezi. Kwanza FIFA Arsenal sayo angekuwa number 7. What do you mean? Ingekuwa career mode.
Wait, speaking of that, let's talk about FPL. Hey, Brio.
Yeah.
Manze FPL. Forget about you guys losing. Forget about the weekend.
Hiyo tushasahau.
One thing that we know about FPL is your team might have a bad week, but your FPL is where
man. That's where you can draw some solace from. Hey.
And you've been active. You've been happy tangu jana. Kwani how many points did you get?
82, bro. 82, bro. I'm a world champion, bro. It's not a child's play.
How?
Man's like Haaland. I already have Haaland as a captain.
Okay.
How I wish I triple captained him. I mean, how many chances will we get this season to triple captain this
Haaland,
guy and we don't use it? Anyway, Haaland was my captain. Of course, I also had Rashford, Saka, and Odegaard, Trippier, and Nick Pope, who gave me clean sheet points, and also Estupinan from Brighton, man. Yeah, those were the key performers in my team.
For the first time in a while, you outperformed me.
I
know.
Keeping the same energy till the end of the season.
Let me keep the same energy. So I got 50 points. And I was disappointed from Foden, because I banked on him playing.
Didn't even
and then
feature.
Also Ben White that you mentioned. Alilipatia 0 points, a yellow card and conceded goals.
True.
And that Leicester goalkeeper, Manse.
No, hiyo nayo ni mistake yako. Anyone who has Daniel Ward as their goalkeeper does not know how to be a manager. The Leicester keeper has been the worst keeper this season.
He can get us saves.
I think Leicester have had one clean sheet all season.
No, okay, he's had a couple. He's had a couple. Amekuwa timu yangu, bro.
Okay.
He's had a couple. So that's game week 2021.
Yeah.
For me, it was disappointing. I went below average. I'm so sad about it. But I cheer up because United have another double game week. And that's one of the reasons why I was watching the Arsenal Man United game is to watch who to pick from United. Yes, but before we talk about that, how's your game week 22 and what are your strategies going on? Because clearly you're in a winning form right now.
Game week 22, I think go back to Haaland. Keep the faith in Haaland because they'll be facing Tottenham again. But now it will be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I think Haaland still turns up and performs. Same case with De Bruyne. I don't think Tottenham can cope with them. If they were 2-0 up and couldn't keep the lead, nah, they will not cope with them even when they're at home. I think Mitrovic is also a key shout. Although Mitrovic, Fulham play Chelsea, and Chelsea are very good defensively. It's just that they lack goal scorers. But you never know. Mitrovic could have that one goal or could give you a terrible, terrible performance. Ivan Toney is also key. Brentford first Southampton. And then, of course, mans like Rashford. How can you not have Rashford when you're facing Palace and Leeds? And you know the way we always cuff Leeds. Leeds wanakujanga tunawapea sita, saba. Like, it's not a child's play. This is a big team. So, straight up, another shout, Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka and Odegaard are the two players who could turn up when you guys play Everton, because Everton will definitely play a low block against you guys. You guys are top of the table. Everton are battling relegation. So those two players, Saka and Odegaard, would be very key in that fixture. Yeah.
Sasa mi upande wangu, I can tell you this. There's a double game week. Man United wako hapo, and Rashford's numbers are good. He's selected by 47.5% of you managers. So basically, half of you managers already have him. If you don't have him, buy him for this week.
True. Against Palace at home and then Leeds as well. Yeah.
And for those people who want to capitalize on a double game week, add, because you're a United fan, add Bruno Fernandes.
Oh, Luke Shaw is a good shout.
And Luke Shaw.
I know Luke Shaw, whenever he has a bad performance, he always turns up the next game. Yeah.
So for me, that's my FPL tip of the week. United have a double game week. Leeds do have a double game week too. But I'm not so confident about Leeds in their form right now as a club. But with United and two fixtures at home.
True.
Definitely, I'm sure there's a
Rashford and Bruno.
And there's a lot of goals. And with Rashford being on form, he's my captain for this week.
Okay. Any final says, Man City versus Arsenal, FA Cup prediction. That's a big game, bro.
Who's home?
Man City at the Etihad, man.
I think Arsenal focuses on Premier League right now, and if we lose to Man City, it's okay. It's totally.
If you guys eliminate, it's
the
okay.
only difference is, we are the FA Cup is more of like the Arsenal.
Yeah,
Cup.
That's your Champions League. That's the one you take pride on.
I expect it to be one hell of a final. Yeah.
Correct score prediction. Come on.
2-1.
2-1 to Arsenal.
Yeah.
I'll go 3-2 City.
3-2 to City.
3-2 City. I think Haaland will not start that game. I actually think Alvarez will start, and then Haaland will be a super sub and rescue and eliminate Arsenal as a super sub. So 3-2 City.
Too much FIFA, man. So up until next time, Venant and Brian.
Yeah, I'm out, man. I'm easy. But Nketiah will not score in the next 5 games. Another one.